Hey guys, this is Oracle Daphne back for my regular Oracle Daphne channel. And I'm doing this reading that was actually inspired by the interstellar object, which is thought to be a comet, 3I Atlas. And I got really interested in looking this up because originally, like when the news reported they were tracking this comet, I looked at it and I was like, yeah, that's not a comet. I just looked at it and I just knew. Like it just came right to me. It was just like, yeah, that's not a comet. Why are they saying it's a comet? I was kind of like a little bit like, oh no, like people are going to start to open their eyes and be like, we are not alone in this on this earth and in this galaxy, and there's more to life than just going to the mall, and working 24/7. So like I kind of was kind of freaking out for the planet a little bit, just because people have very rigid belief systems about where we come from and the origins of man and how we function in this, I want to call it, program. And I honestly, feel very strongly that I'm going to get some answers from my guides about this comet. I'm going to ask some questions, and I'm going to get some answers. Now, whether they match up with what's online or what you've read, it's not important to me. I actually don't even care about the accuracy of like what I'm getting. I care about what's most important here. Looking at this from the perspective of, I'm doing a reading. This is for educational purposes. Entertainment purposes only. I'm interested in the educational ideas of how we learn, how we get information, the spiritual connection that we have to the earth, to the planet, to our guides and angels. And so like I want to kind of look at things from the perspective of being open to seeing what comes through, and being open to those answers, even if those answers may not match up with what we previously had thought or what other people might say or suggest. I will tell you that there's a lot out there about this comet, and I have looked it up, and the fact that it is really old, I kind of want to start there. The fact that it's really old, on the upper end, they've said it's older than this galaxy, and it's just a really old comet, if it is a comet, but I don't see it as being a comet. Okay. If you want to call it a spaceship, you can call it a spaceship if you feel like it, but I don't even really want to call it a spaceship. My guides are saying it's not a spaceship as we would think of as a spaceship. Okay, so that's first and foremost. I also want to preface this by saying I am not the information master here. If you want to get more information on this, you can go to your search engine and check out what it says about this comet, what's the chemical components, and why people are saying it is a comet or why they don't think it is. I think there was one other YouTuber who said, who was talking about how this comet was had some positive energy, and I was like, yeah, no, I don't feel that. I asked my guide specifically, and I'm going to ask again, is this comet a threat to our life here? I don't feel that. Is it a friendly? No. Did it, like, okay, so I was going to ask, did it come with good intentions? Like, what's the intent behind this comet? Like, why is it here? This is going to sound interesting. I'm getting a couple of answers, which is very strange to me, and I wasn't expecting this to come up. But I feel like the planetary elders, the people that, or the beings, I should say, that are in control of this planet, originally came to this planet to mine. They came to extract the gold. They came to extract the money, the resources of the planet. They enslaved the natives, okay? And in some regard, that is one of the reasons why that ship that comet came really close to Earth. I feel like they kind of, spiritually, they probably put it out there into the universe. Oh, we're just going to go take a trip. Okay. But that trip was about money. That trip was about gold. You see the gold in this little, and this is actually a little ship. That's interesting. It's little, you could see it's like a little sail ship. And in reverse, it looks very gold. It looks like gold. And so I want to say that this comet or interstellar object was specifically en route to really look to see if our planet had any natural resources. It actually came for the natural resource, if it could extract any natural resources. The reason, we have this little trowel here. That was the purpose of this. That was the purpose of this object. It's kind of like a, like some kind of mission to check things out, to see, okay, like what we have here, what's available. For some reason, I'm also getting the beings that are in control, let's just say, of that object or in that object, we're looking for a place to land, like another place to maybe establish residency. And they weren't really allowed to be here. They're not supposed to be here at all. And I'm going to go into why in just a second, but I feel like, this key represents, like the full package deal. If I'm reading for a client, it represents getting married, settling down, having a house, maybe planting a garden, having a 3-car garage and a swimming pool. It's like the full package. You get married and you have a couple of kids, maybe more, and it's a full package deal. And so to me, it represents them wanting to try to see if this was a viable place to settle or land. I'm getting I don't know, the word's worn down. Like they're worn down. They've been traveling for a period of time, or for a very long time. I want to say for a very long time. Like trying to find a place to settle is what I want to say. Trying to find a place to land. Yeah. And if we want to go back to like the fall of man and the fallen angels came in I want to say interstellar object similar to that, a spaceship or a craft or whatever you want to call it, similar to that. That's how they got here. That ship, that comet, has advanced technology, advanced capability. So that comet could probably continue traveling for another 1 billion years and not really need to land. It's got some really interesting technology to it. That's what I want to say. It has some interesting technology. But okay, so here's the part about this that I'm looking at too, or I wanted to share, is that technically, okay, with spiritual law, the planet is under control by certain beings. You want to call them the fallen angels, that's fine. These beings don't allow and don't allow for any other beings to come here. Okay, so like they are in control, and they don't allow it, spiritual law does not allow others to interfere in our process. Because our process is thus that we have to overcome things ourselves in exchange for their protection. So like we are in a program, okay, let's just say in a program, there's a karmic cycle. Some of you want to call it, if you want to call it reincarnation, there's a reincarnation cycle if you want to believe in reincarnation. And we're here to learn a lot of lessons and overcome the programming. Okay, we are in a program. And that's a war and peace polarity dynamic in that program, in our consciousness, that we're trying to overcome. Now, the thing about it is, in exchange for that being in this program and under control of the overlords, we are protected, because nobody can interfere in this process. So the overlords came and said, okay, this is the planet, we're taking over, and nobody can interfere with this process. This is what we're going to do with these beings, and this is how it's going to play out. So for that comet/interstellar object to come into our consciousness is really unusual. And that's why I'm here, because I wanted to look at it from this place of why did it come and why was it allowed even into our airspace? I think of it as airspace. It's almost like international airspace or universal airspace. And I also want to mention, okay, so this is where my guides want me to talk about anything outside of the known realms, okay, or outside of the collection of galaxies that that we're part of, okay, in space. Anything outside of that, and I feel like this comet was from outside of that because it's so old. It's sort of like I don't know how to explain this. It's sort of like, when we, if we went into space and we put some junk out into space, we would forget about it. We would forget about that junk, okay? And it would be just junk. And if we ever came in contact with it again, it would probably be in a different form than we were expecting. And anything outside of the known realms or outside of the program, okay, is something that we should be afraid of. And my guides have really talked about this. They've talked about this because it's sort of outside of our control. So it's sort of like, okay, so this is a really challenging video because this is going to challenge all of your belief systems. It's going to even challenge like even people that, believe in ETs or anything outside of Earth. Life outside of Earth. This is something that would come from way, way, way outside of the known program. And anything outside of that known program is going to be a foreign object that we cannot possibly understand, and that is bad and threatening to our way of life. Now, I did ask my guides if this ship or / comet was a threat. I'm going to ask you again, was this going to be a threat or is it a threat? And I still get to know. I still got to know. I've asked several times. But are they good? Is it good? I also get to know. Again, okay, so let's just say we went back in time to the beginning of when the fallen angels came and established residency on the earth, okay? If, let's just say, from long, long ago, there was a group of beings that didn't establish a colony. They were just continuously floating in space through time, trying to find a place to land, trying to find, let's just say, a place that had resources, a place to mine, a place to have, to set up like a shop. Okay, basically, it's a place to settle down, a place to conquer, set up a camp, if you will. Okay, that would be what the 3-eye atlas is. That's how I see it. And it's come from so long ago, and it's come, as far as I'm concerned, outside of the known realms. The reason I say outside of the known realms is because, yes, it came from, they say, the thick part of the Milky Way, but I believe that was traveling so far through time that it might have came through some other portal or opening in the program. Like, it's almost like like when like a bug can get into a computer program. To me, it's almost like that equivalent. Now, I don't want to say it's like a bug in the program, but it's more like it came through some space or some energy in the program itself that God created, that essentially makes it so that it's not supposed to be here. It's not supposed to be here in this time. I don't believe it's supposed to be here in this time. Now, the other reason I'm looking at this is because I wanted to ask the question, or go over okay, so Nostradamus once said that there was going to be a meteor that hit the Earth. Roughly during this period. Okay, roughly during this period of time. And I estimated that there would be a meteor according to the 7 years of tribulation video that I did in 2029, on or around 2029. But I don't believe that that's going to happen. I actually believe that what's going to happen is an NUK instead. And there's been other psychics that have seen the NUK, and they've also talked about other bad things happening, but I believe that that's one of the things, that's where things are going. Is this comet going to come back? No. I say it because we have this adventure awaits and it's pointing that direction. And it's really interesting. Like, when I think of anything outside of the known realm, outside of the program, I think of it's going in this direction. It's going to the right. And I don't know why, okay? I think of things coming from the right, okay? Or going to the right, but I don't necessarily think it's like, and I don't know how to explain that logically or rationally, but that's how I've always seen it. It's almost like, it's like if there was a garbage dump, okay, the garbage dump would be to the right of the galaxy. It would be outside the known realm. And I don't believe the known realm is only just our galaxy. I believe the known realm is the collection, the billions of galaxies that are part of the collective, okay? I feel like what's coming through is the reason that this object has been traveling for so long, or hasn't found a base camp or base planet to set up shop, is because, for whatever reason, the resources that they're looking for is really specific. They're looking for a planet that has specific resources. Mm-hmm. So I'm being shown the pineapple, which is about water. And I was showed the gold. And it has to have, like, it's like they're looking for a planet that has specific planetary composition. If we were, like, talking, like, in the terms of Star Trek, okay? Like, let's look at it from the Star Trek terms. Like, you know how Star Trek is really good in certain episodes where they talk about, the planetary composition, what the planets, when they encounter a new planet or quadrant, they talk about what the planets are made up of. And so this comet was looking for that specifically. That's what I'm seeing. What else? Why? Okay, I'm going to look at the T here for a second. Why was it allowed in? Yeah, to me, this is being shown like a break-in. They came through. They weren't supposed to be here. Again, I'm seeing a broken branch. Was it a mistake? I feel like their trajectory, okay, and the way they came through was not accidental. It was not a mistake. But it's like a break-in. They're not supposed to be here. We're not supposed to be able to see them. And honestly, the way it works with our brain and the way our brain waves work is that we go into a state of psychic shock if we see, like if we were to see an ET walk up to, to your door, okay, for example, you'd go into a state of psychic shock. You would not remember, okay? So for us to be able to see this is very interesting. And I also don't think that we're seeing it the way it actually is, okay? My guides also said that specifically. It is like the Magellan ship where they go to the natives. And the natives are like, what ship? And Magellan's like, this ship, our ship is right over there. And they're like, what ship? They couldn't see the ship. And the reason they couldn't see it is they could never possibly have imagined that ship looking the way it was. And so for some reason, and I'm just going to say this, the way it appears is not how it actually is. Even if it's on camera, even if we get a good camera shot, it is not the way it actually is. I don't believe that. For whatever reason, we don't have the technology to be able to see the way it actually looks. But I'm going to tell you, it is not the way it appears to be on camera. And I'm getting confirmation from my guides about that. Do we have anything to worry about? Like, is more going to show up? Later in time, I feel like there might be more than one, maybe two more vessels that show up. I don't believe that the beings that control our planet are the only beings out there looking for an Earth or a place like Earth to set up shop. I'm going to ask another question. Was it the beings that control our planet that were just out going for a ride? No. I feel like it was other beings. And the reason it would have been a threat if they had decided to go to battle with the beings that control the Earth is that we would have a serious problem. The planet would be a serious threat. I think they said that if that spaceship of that or the interstellar object of that size hit, it would obliterate an entire continent. So we can't the planet is not equipped to go to war with beings with advanced technology from the outer known regions. And the beings that are in the outer known regions, I'm just going to say, are bad. It's the garbage dump. Or it's just beings that we are not equipped in our program to fight. We just don't have the capability. We don't have the technology. They have like a different whole set of rules, technology, and all of that. I'm going to continue this reading. This is just getting really, really good. Please give me a thumbs up. Thank you guys so much for being supportive followers and fans. I send everyone big hugs, big kisses. Stay tuned for part 2. Thank you guys so much. Take care. Bye-bye, guys.